What's up, everybody? I'm Dear Gamer. Welcome back to the channel today. We are back, and today we are diving into some new Monster Hunter Now news. As you guys know, I cover Monster Hunter Now on the channel. Had a good time when the game came out, and now it's time for the first title update 1. And kind of skimming through this, they're saying, hey, welcome, it's December, this is our first major title update. And what's happening is they're adding 2 weapons. They're adding the Lance and Dual Blades. So as you know, they're adding 4 new monsters, adding the Zenogre, Banboro, Baroth, and Raduban. So those are monsters. And what they're going to be doing is, what caught my attention is this is going to be the changes that are happening to the actual weapons in the game. So this is gonna be pretty big. So Monster Hunter Now, we believe it's important to achieve a good balance between various weapon types. Some things in particularly pay attention to in the development are the characteristics of each weapon being expressed accurately, and are the strength of a particular weapon too advantageous or too disadvantageous beyond the original intent. While we took care to tune and balance things before launch, sometimes further adjustments are needed. Based on how people are actually playing the game, we believe that if a weapon type has deviated too far from the original intent, it should be strengthened, weakened, or otherwise adjusted. Our ideal balance is not to make all weapon types equal in strength. We believe that it is accessible for certain weapon types to be temporarily rated higher than others, as long as not too extreme. Add depth to gameplay, allow for a variety of options for players. However, when a particular weapon has an advantage over others for a sustained period of time, it may be necessary to make adjustments in a way that fills the gap and achieve balance. So it goes on to talk about the close range weapon versus long range weapons. Close range weapons, a higher risk of taking damage should be offset with an exhilarating play experience with more destructive and consecutive attacks. Exactly, you're close range, you should be doing more bigger damage. Long range weapons have a lower risk, should require more strategic approach to the battle, in which hunters need to take into consideration how to best inflict damage. So they're saying right now you're too safe with long range weapons and you're too dangerous, too risky up close with short range weapons, which is true, especially since the whole situation with post healing, etc. Currently, the development team feels that close range weapons are too much of a disadvantage compared to long range weapons. I agree with that. And both risk damage in terms of both risk and damage in games. So they're going through and they're rebalancing them. So that's what they're doing. So sword and shield, I don't play this weapon, so you guys can comment below what your thoughts are. In addition to the lance, since update, blah blah blah. Overall damage reduction when guarding against enemy attacks will be reduced. Overall guard damage reduction, so you take more damage when you're guarding. A perfect guard will now be possible with a well-timed guarding against enemy attacks. A perfect guard reduces damage more than normal guarding and activates offensive guard skill. This is also case with lance. You'll be able to transition from guard to backstep quicker than before, so you can go guard to backstep faster. But the thing is, you take chip damage now, and you take less of it if you get a perfect guard, and you take more of it if you just do a regular guard. So they're trying to make it a little bit more risky. I know initially everyone was saying that sword and shield was literally the best weapon in the game. It might still be, but this is what they're doing to kind of like bring it down a little bit, because they might feel it's a little too strong. Next is going to be Greatsword. Why are we making these changes? Greatsword requires some risk in return from inflicting large damage with a single blow, but currently, there seems to be a slight imbalance between risk and return. These adjustments are slightly reduce the risk of attacking. Yes, the Greatsword needs a buff, because there's no iframes on your attack. It takes too long to transition. It's just, when you get that big damage, it's amazing, it's juicy. But getting to that damage is kind of challenging as well. So I'm kind of happy they're making these changes, because I like Greatsword. It's my second main weapon. So the window of invincibility when tackling will now begin sooner. So as you're tackling, you have more iframes. Cool. The transition from charge slash to the next level of charge slash should be quicker than before. So we get built-in focus. Who knows what level, 1, 2, or 3 maybe. You'll be able to evade more quickly after a charge slash. So right after you do your slash, you can jump out the way. After jumping a Y slash, that's when you attack and you jump afterwards. Achieved by tapping after a tackle. You will now be able to move into a charge slash by tapping and holding. So you You slash, you just a regular slash, you jump slash, you could charge it as well and go into a slash. Bruh, the great sword is the weapon now. Based on everything we're seeing here, they buff the great sword exponentially. So that's cool to see. Hammer. Like the great sword, this is a higher risk weapon. Without taking away from that, some of the adjustments have been made to compromise for short reach and risk. When locking on and charging your hammer, you will now be able to move towards the locked on target more smoothly. Okay, you can move while you're charging. You'll be able to evade more quickly after all attacks. Cool. Bow. I'm pretty sure you're gonna get some nerfs here. Let's see. The bow is intended to be a somewhat tactical long-range weapon that requires the player to adjust their position and distance in order to target weak points. But as it stands, attack performance is sufficient without having to aim at weak points from a distance. With that in mind, we adjusted it to make it more important to maintain appropriate distance and position and accurately aim at weak points. In turn, we have made improvements, including making perfect evades more advantageous, which has been a point of frustration for hunters, including making perfect evades more advantageous. So they're encouraging you to use a perfect evade more often from a distance. You have to aim at the weak spot. You can't just, like, I guess before you didn't have to, you just do good damage before. So those crazy bow speed runs are going to slow down. Damage reduction when there's distance between you and your monster would be greater. So damage reduction, I'm saying you're taking more damage. All large monsters will be more resistant to shots aimed at their non-weak points. So monsters have stronger parts, not from a distance, not in their weak spots. A perfect evade will now increase the charge level by 2. Cool. The speed of rapid arrows will slightly increase for better accuracy when attacking the target part. Cool. Bowgun. As with the bow, adjustments were made to account for the fact that it's easier to generate sustained firepower from lower risk position, and once you have skill for the bowgun, recoil down, increase reload speed, it's easier to generate even firepower in turn. We improved the perfect evade just as we did with the bow. Damage reduction when there's distance between you and the monster will be greater. All large monsters will be more resistant to shots aimed at the weakest spot. Achieving a perfect evade when your ammo is maxed out will grant a +1 to the number of ammo, and that's it. Longsword, great. What do they do for longsword? The current consensus around this weapon seems to be that it was handled well. It's one of the most powerful weapons of all, and when not handled skillfully, it's difficult to generate power. This aligns with how we intend the strength and weakness of the weapon to be expressed, so we did not make any particular adjustments this time. Boo. Longsword didn't get no changes to it, didn't get a buff, didn't get a nerf. It's kind of where it is. Changes to monsters. So strong roars of monsters are now effective over larger ranges. So I mean, as a melee character, it doesn't matter to me because you got to be close or else you're gonna get the roar. But this is for like bow and I guess light bow gun that can play from a distance and not be impacted that much by the roar. Now you can, so you're not safe from roars anymore. You gotta dodge through them or whatever, but they're gonna eat every timer. This one is all formulaic. The formula for calculating the rate of increase in damage when skilled that increases attack power by multiplier. Example: sneak attacks, special boosts, or stacked have been changed. Doesn't say what they changed it to. It just knows that the way that damage stacks is now different. So we'll have to wait and see when the update comes out to see what that looks like. It will take slightly longer to evade after getting up from heavy attack. When thrown back, they're increasing your downtime. That sucks. Why? The window of invincibility after reviving will be slightly longer, so you get more iframes when you get revived. It'll be easier to launch an appropriate attack based on your proximity to the monster. Some of the rewards. Wait, that's a buff right there. It'll be easier to launch an appropriate attack based on your proximity to the monster. Some of the rewards for dailies have been increased. Sharp Claw, we get more. The orbs, we get more. That's everything for the update. Our goal is to create a game in which hunters get to fully enjoy the range of their weapon type while occasionally wanting to reach for others. In addition to the dual blades lands, we encourage you to try out the other weapons as well. Okay, that is the update. So looking at this, I've always been a fan of, I want them to put more time in the hunts. Give us 20 more seconds. That way you can like enjoy the hunt and kind of like move around, bob and weave, take some time to like really dissect the monster without feeling necessarily rushed. I feel Greatsword got buff. I feel Sword and Shield, they're coming for you boys, so I'm sorry. Bowgun, the other ones were okay. Longsword didn't get anything, but you know, I get it. Longsword's always been the longsword this, longsword that, so it is what it is. We'll skip us this time. I mean, what else could you really do? We have Ice Slash, we have Foresight, decent damage. The one I wanted to see more drops changed the formula, but maybe they won't tell us here that they changed the formula for drops, but maybe when we get into the game they might. We'll see the difference there. But this has been, I guess, my breakdown of everything that came out. I wanted to make sure I got it out to you guys in case you guys didn't know this was happening, or you kind of want to have a more discussion about it with others in the comment section. So that's available. But this is the updates coming to the game. New weapons, new monsters, all the things. So comment below, tell me what your thoughts are. My family, thanks for watching. If you're new, make sure you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe. Till next time, dear gamers, signing out.